this year has truly been a very impactful year for us at the center, especially with the funding from Ford Foundation to do Nkata from November 2024 to November 2025. Because I currently Ford Foundation aka. Because one of the key commitments from that programming, but the engagement with the different communities, especially the student communities, who champion different causes on mainstreaming inclusion, spreading awareness on inclusion. So they've taken different interventions, within their school and outside of their schools. The tertiary categories have also done theirs. And with the community of persons living with disability has also done a lot of work. And I think perhaps it has not been official. Maybe Mr. Onyebuchi would talk more on that later. The Enugu state government had actually made moves to, set up a disability commission, which is one of the key things we've been asking through Nkata over the years. And sometime last month, that conversation happened, and we hope that before the turn of the new year, that Enugu would join Abia State in setting up a disability commission. Because like most of our speakers said, that each of us know one accident away from living with one form of disability or the other. And I think talking about inclusion and other forms of DEI this year has opened our eyes to a lot of the things that perhaps another are conscious of. And I think this is also part of the role of the Center for Memories, because in our work, I put on a tripod, Makonyata and Echi, while we talk about issues of the past, we also find ways to talk about contemporary issues and see how it is related with the work we do and the conversations that we have at the Center for Memories. And again, this year, like I only mentioned, we had the Things Fall Apart Festival, which also helped a lot of people to understand the Igbo cosmos and the worldview of Ndị Ìgbò through the lenses of Chinua Achebe. And I think that is the spirit and the scope of the work of the Center for Memories. And for next year, we hope to have that particular event come back bigger and better, because a lot of things are already happening, and maybe in due time we make the necessary announcements. But not to bother you so much with a lot of the things that the Center for Memories in Eme, I think this evening we are gathered to listen to an Amazon, to a woman who has not only talked but walked the walk, and who will share insights on some of the strategies we can leverage on, to ensure that na NDOZI obodo, na ndị niile nọ kwesịrị ime ka obodo dị mma, na anọ na ụmụ nwoke ma ụmụ nwaanyị ma ụmụaka, maka na ndị Igbo kere ọrụ eke, onwe ọrụ dịrị ụmụ nwoke, nwe ọrụ dịrị ụmụ nwaanyị, nwe ọrụ dịrị ụmụaka, mana ọ bụ na anyị emerọ ka ndị kwesịrị ịrụ nke a ga-arụ nwee ohere wee rụọ ya, efu na obodo ama emepe ka o si kwesịrị imepe. So, mgbe na-adịghị anya, the voice anyị ga-anụ ga-abụ the voice of our speaker, who will come to the podium, Nobi Okonkwo, to speak to us. But before she do that, I would like to also call back to the stage to read the citation of Iyom Josephine Anenih.
Iyom Josephine Anenih, MNI, FNIM, Esquire, is one of Nigeria's most respected voices on women's leadership, democratic governance, social development, and elderly care advocacy. A lawyer by training and a nationally recognized public figure, she has worked for over 4 decades at the intersection of gender justice, political participation, legal reform, and community empowerment. She has served as Minister of Women's Affairs and Social Development, where she championed policy frameworks on gender equality, social protection, child's rights, and increased representation of women in public life. As founding mother and board of trustees, member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and a former national woman leader, she played a defining role in building Nigeria's contemporary women's political movement. Iyom is a continental voice for aging and elder rights. She is the founder of the Alzheimer's Disease Foundation Nigeria, ADF, a leading organization advancing dementia awareness, caregiver support, and policy education. She also established the Ignatius Akubude Center for Senior Citizens in Amawbia, an emerging model for community-based adult daycare and active aging in West Africa. From 2021 to 2025, she served as National President of the Elderly Persons Association of Nigeria, EPAN, promoting national advocacy for elder dignity, welfare, and recognition. She currently leads Nkata Iyom NNII as President General, convening women leaders across sectors to advance digital inclusion, economic empowerment, cultural revival, and intergenerational leadership. Her public service career includes pioneering work on widows' rights, legislative advocacy, civic education, and peace building. She has remained a mentor to emerging women leaders and a bridge between generations, always championing the belief that a society is judged by how it treats its women and its elders. Iyom Anenih continues to shape Nigeria's development landscape through visionary leadership, cultural stewardship, and lifelong service. Ndebani, with a resounding applause, please make welcome Iyom Josephine Anenih as she delivers a keynote speech at the December 2025 edition of Nkata Umu Ibe.
Ndebani, Ndewonu. You may be wondering why I'm confused. Makafasi no Nkata NDOZI Obodo. So, bịa cheno ka mbịa sụọ Igbo. Nnuza ka na-eme introduction si na nga asụ Igbo nsi ahịa atọkwa m. Atọkwa m. Okay. Ka nwan mana I hope na mgbe anyị ga-ebido kpawa nkata nọ n'Igbo ka anyị ga-akpa. Ọkwa ya? Mana nchọ ka nsụ ọlụ n'Oyibo. Ngwa gezienụ ntị. Ndị Oyibo na-ebidogonu with protocols. Amara m eme protocol. Ka attempt ebe director anyị ọ bụrụ director chairman board of trustees of Center for Memories, okay? Patrick Okibo III. In the order of Ndị Bịargbo, Bennett Yaba, Emeka Aku Abata, ndị niile na-arụ ọrụ ebe a, students, ụmụ agbọghọbịa na ụmụ ikolobịa, asụwakwa m Igbo, young girls and young boys, the youth. You're all welcome to this. I'm so excited to be here. When I was invited, I couldn't not come. In spite of all the things that would have made it impossible for me to be here today. And I said I would be here. Coming, there was no road to Enugu. I don't know what happened, trailers everywhere. Do you know that coming from Oka to this place took me 4 hours? 4 hours before we got here. So, but it is worth the stress. That I'm so happy that I'm finally here. Now, NDOZI Obodo. It's a joy to be here this evening. And this is not the first time I've been here. And anytime I step in here, I feel as if I'm standing in the heart of Igbo land. And I'm so happy that this place is Okonkwo's Obu, from Chinachebe's Things Fall Apart. So it's a place where our past, our present, and our future sit down together to talk, to Ńkàtá. And for those who don't know what Ńkàtá means conversation. Conversation. Every December, we all come home. Some come for Christmas, some to rest, some to see their families. We come from all over the world, wherever we are, as Ndị Ìgbò. But whether we admit it or not, December is also a time when we take stock of our communities. We have general returns, like in Amobia. This year is our general return, wherever you are working, wherever you are coming from, you still come home to discuss, things that pertain to our community and the development of our society. So this conversation on NDOZI Obodo is very timely. We cannot repair what we refuse to look at. And we cannot build the future of Ala Ìgbò by leaving the work for one person or one group. And it has sort of become a trend that when things are going wrong, when we see that things are not working or things are going wrong, we say, well, it is not our business, it is the government, it is the Igwe, it is the PG's duty to do, it is the Igwe's duty, it is the president. No. We cannot leave the work for one person. If we see that there is need for repair, all of us have to put our hands together. And we cannot build the future of Ala Ìgbò, like I said, by leaving the work for one person or one group. In our tradition, leadership was always shared. The Umunna had their role, the Umuada, or Umuokpo, as we say in Amobia, Umuokpo, they also had their role. They had their voice. The age grades had responsibilities. The markets were organized. Town unions were coordinated. Everybody carried the load, shared the load. And that is why the community moved forward. But today, many of these structures are still there, but they are weaker. Our youth feel unheard. And our youth also wait to be told what to do. They have not given us the opportunity. And each time I hear it, I remember Gowon and Ojukwu. They were youths when they were heads of Nigeria and Biafra. And they did not wait for any old man or adult to give them the role to lead. So our youth also have something to check in this area. Our women are not always included. And as I know, especially in politics, the women will say they won't allow us. They have not given us. And I keep telling them, as woman leader, nobody will ever allow you. Nobody will ever give you. You got to go and take it. Oh, they didn't invite us. And I tell them, invite yourself. But, you know, I think it's a way of making excuses for our inadequacy or our inadequacy, yes. Or I'm trying to choose the word. Or would I say laziness, mental, spiritual, and emotional laziness. So we are putting, passing the buck and putting the blame on other people. They didn't give us, they didn't allow us, they didn't call us. And most times, leadership these days is a title without responsibility. Somebody has a title, but they are not responsible or they do not live up to their responsibility. But I believe sincerely that Ala Ìgbò is not beyond repair. The fact that we are having these conversations, the fact that, it's bothering us, that we are noticing something, is very, very good. So, the issues that we have, which are human issues, can be repaired. And anything built by humans can be rebuilt by humans. If our communities and our structures are broken down by us, we can also repair it. And we can repair it not in silos, but as, communities, as groups, as like Ndị Ìgbò, like Ndị Ìgbò would say, Igwe Bụ Ike. If all of us come together, we have the strength and the force and the energy to repair what is broken. We should work together, men, women, young people, elders. And I can hear the disabled community saying disabled. If you are disabled, you are a man. If you are disabled, you are a woman. If you are disabled, you are a youth. So stop making yourself a special class. Like whenever I see them, and they say disabled, I say, me too, I'm disabled. You are visually impaired. My own, not see my glasses, I'm also visually impaired. You are walking like this, see my walking stick. So all of us, in one way or the other, are disabled. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is complete. So that's another thing I want to tell people, them, to stop putting themselves in a different class, because you make it easy for people to now sideline you or push you aside as if you're different. You are not different. We are all the same, with different abilities and different disabilities. So today I want us to talk frankly. What is broken now in our obodo, in our society? What can we fix? And more importantly, who should be part of the fixing? I've mentioned it earlier. All of us. Men, women, youth, everybody. We should stop leaving the fixing to government, because NDOZI Obodo, or fixing the Obodo, or repairing the Obodo, is not government work alone. It is everybody's work. And it starts from our homes, the way we behave at home, the way we run our homes, the way we treat one another. the way we participate in our communities, in our umunna, in our churches, everywhere we find ourselves, in our schools. The way we support the structures that hold our communities together. Because in the past, as I said before, we had structures that worked. I'm happy to be here with you today. And I look forward to this honest and hopeful conversation. At this point, I would want to stop because I enjoy it more when it is interactive, when everybody join mouth together. Is that English? I need to know no kwa. So, and so let us be frank and open. We are at home. We are in our Obi or Obu, as we will call it in Amobia. So please, it should be all of us to discuss.
When the floor is open for comments, over the year, we have had our speakers speak to us about inclusion from one, perspective or aspect to the other. And today we're looking at NDOZI Obodo and how it is an all-embracing and inclusive approach. Because on NDOZI, that's what you've said essentially. No, Olu Obodo, each and every, yes, Olu Arakobo. So when we want to comment, we would start with making a pledge, a commitment to how we want to leave this place and embody or showcase our understanding of inclusion. So if you're going to ask a question or make a comment, you start by telling us what you intend to do in terms of making the society more inclusive. And now I will turn to Iyom. Iyom, thank you so much for the lecture. I'll start with the issue of the work, NDOZI development, being a collective thing. And then you also mentioned how marginalized groups will always cry marginalization, whether it's, the youth or women communities or old people, or even the community of persons with disability. But, some people may also ask that our society looks like really it excludes certain people. So when someone says that, we were not invited, or that they are not allowing us, take, the political space, for instance, how much room does it make for these groups on the margins to participate, just like maybe the men, for instance? So when women say that the political space does not give them room enough, how do you respond to that? Is it that really our society is such that it gives room, but they're not seeing the room enough and they're the ones that have to step up? Or are there really, structural inequities or gaps that makes it difficult for women to participate in politics, for example?
Okay. I'll take us back to before the colonial masters came. In our communities, in Ala Ìgbò, we had a dual governance system. And we had structures that were clearly marked. We had umunna. We had umuada or umuokpo. We had, like in Amobia, we had what we call awon mili. These are elderly women, women who, they had a role. And everybody had their responsibilities. Like the age grade. We had age grade. You know what is age grade now? Ndị Ọgbọ, Otu Ọgbọ. Okay, like the Otu Ọgbọ people will be in charge of labor, hard labor. They will be in charge of security. They will be in charge of projects. People want to build houses, and young men want to build houses. They will come together and build that house for that person, and so on and so forth. The Umuada were in charge of conflict resolution. They were in charge of justice. They had moral authority. When there was problem in the community, Umuada or Umuopu would step in, or in Umunna, in clans, in kingship quarrels, communities. The Umuopu or Umuada, as you want to call them, would step in and resolve that conflict. And whatever decision they came to, whatever judgment would stand, everybody respected it. You had Umunna, of course. The Umunna who are in charge of the lineages, and governance and structures, Then, of course, you had town unions for development and so on and so forth. You had market associations, for economic, for economic management and all that. So, everybody felt included in the overall governance and development of our communities. Nobody was excluded. Then came the colonial masters with their government, and their government was now just men, and women were relegated. They were, I think it was even subtle, because women used to work very hard. Go to market, go to farm, go to this, go to that. Then Oyibo man comes and says, this man, your wife is now a Mrs. So Mrs. is to stay at home. Mrs. does not go to market, And our women, just like the men were trying to imitate the Oyibo men, the women also started imitating the Oyibo women. I think that was how it became customary. It became the norm that women do not go to office. Women do not go to, where government is. They are to sit at home. The men will go to school. The women will go to, if they went to school, it will be a domestic science school, where they were taught how to cook, how to sew Oyibo dress, like the Oyibo missus, and all that. That was the education they had at that time, how to be proper missus. So that was how softly, without knowing, the women were no longer at the table there. They were no longer Ebana. They say she speak English. They were no longer at the decision-making tables. And we said no. We had a position there. So we must get it back. So that is why, like you said, in politics, our constitution, even the drafting the constitution, they will say he, chairman. And in our brain, chairman is a man. So even where the position, where they say anybody can contest, because chairman is a man in our brain, no woman will pick form or bring out themselves to contest to be a chairman. So we women, even, relegate ourselves. If there are positions, we will look at, okay, let them make me welfare officer now. Because the welfare officer is the one that will bring the food and the drinks and the, you know what I mean. Then the men, because they don't trust themselves, they trust women better. I mean, it's okay, we can make them a treasurer or financial secretary. But chairman, secretary, all the other thing, organizing is for men. And the women accept it. And we keep saying, no, because there's no constitution that says you cannot. If you now say you want to be a governor, it is even the women that will say, hey, Gwada, aren't you afraid? How? How can you? If you want to be how can you be a president? They feel that it is impossible for a woman to be. But it is not. We've seen it in other climes. So we just have to change our mentality. We were brainwashed. And that inferiority complex, we need to shed that toga. So the persons with disabilities, you heard what I tell them. I said, go for everything. Don't wait to be given. I have seen, people on wheelchair who are in other countries, who are president. I met one in London in one occasion. President on wheelchair. But here, our mentality, the way we are told, we've been, socialized, conditioned, we will now think it is impossible. And then we'll be asking for handouts. We should, if we want to NDOZI Obodo, if we want to repair our Obodo, we must first of all start shedding those, cloaks, removing those cloaks on our mentality, and see ourselves as equal partners, complementary partners in development. I started an organization for women called Nkata Ụ. I didn't know about the Nkata Umu Ibe when we started many years ago. And our chairman is a member of our board of advisors of Nkata Umu, Patrick Okibo III. Because I thought that it is time for women to talk, woman talk to woman, and woman will understand. We should start talking to ourselves. We should start, encouraging one another. We should start looking at our society and seeing how we can join hands with our leaders, our men, to make a better society for everybody. We should not just, stay aloof like most women. They are not interested in politics. They are not interested in discussions that has anything to do with development or anything. All they are interested in is, they go to church. Father says they want to build whatever. They will contribute the money or, the sand, the water, everything. They'll carry it on their head to do that, sew uniform and dance. No, we can do more than that. So we are already at it, trying to repair, what is broken in our society. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you. While you were speaking, it also ties to an earlier comment in your keynote, which is that NDOZI abro olu ofuonye, because you've just taken us back to former times before the colonial conquest and how society was structured in such a way that, the respective demographics that made it up had a role to play. But we are where we are now, and the person who has the power to make a difference, very often, the job of doing the work often starts with the leadership or the leadership structure. And when we look at NDOZI as a collective, how can, say, the demographic of, young people, youths, for instance, how can they partake in NDOZI? When, for instance, in our country's politics, for instance, to purchase a form, to participate in high offices, these forms go for prices that are way beyond what maybe the average youth can, afford. And some persons would look at that as, one of the structural inequities that we're saying that automatically sideline certain groups. So how can young people, for instance, partake in NDOZI from a leadership position or from the leadership, aspect when in this way, for instance, they are already excluded from the game?
Well, you're talking about forms for political participation. It's a recent development. It hasn't always been like this. So when the youth and the women started pushing that they too want to be at the table, those who are already at the table, who have the power, now hiked this thing. So it's a fight. I mean, it's a battle. So we cannot fold our hands and just say, well, there's nothing we can do. There's something we can do. It is this same youth that will go out and mobilize and vote for them and everything. That's what I'm saying, that we just need to change our mentality. If the youth have the mentality that they can and they will and they must and they should, then they cannot continue to be follow. Yes, if you put your nomination form, like some parties put their nomination forms at 100 million, buy your 100 million, do your election. We are not doing. Yes, if the youths and the women say they really mean it. So, but they don't. That's the problem. And then these other people who have advantage, we keep, marginalizing, keep using them and dumping them. Because if the youth and the women say, okay, if you won't admit us, we are not going to do the elections with you people. You go ahead and do your elections. They will know that they are serious. So I don't believe that they should give up. Because these are tactics. These are tactics to continue the marginalization and the exclusion. What if you want to serve? Why would you pay 100 million, 30 million, 50 million to buy a form? How much is the salary? How much is your salary on that post? What is the salary of a senator? What is the salary of a governor? What is the salary of even the president? So why, if you use billions just to get into the Senate, are you doing it so that you can serve? Or you are doing it as a business concern? You are investing. So when you invest this, you know that when you get there, you will make more money. Plus the power that the position gives you. Those are the questions youth should sit down and ask themselves. Women should sit down and ask themselves, why are they doing it? Because if it is for service, you don't have to pay that kind of money. I want to serve you, then you are now asking me to pay. It won't work. So that means you are not getting that position because you are not seeking that position because you want to go and serve your people. You are seeking that position because you want to enrich yourself further. So it's an economic investment for you. We need to change that paradigm. But we need to start changing from our mind, our brain, our heart, our thinking, and, our understanding. And stop, So what is it? It's, I don't know. Ask me another.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you. When we started, we mentioned homecoming as an opportunity. On December, and this is, the time that families, come together, Nigerians or, Igbo in the diasporan communities, come home. And NDOZI Obodo, December period is, usually that time where the opportunity is provided for people to, come back and dialogue or deliberate on, how things are. So, what are your recommendations? How can, Ala Ìgbò leverage the homecoming season, to drive development and to drive the message that NDOZI, is first a collective task before, maybe the task of the leadership or the leaders?
Modern politics has corrupted this society so badly that in every sphere now, they have infused the dirt from politics into our communities and our local things. You will see contestation for President General, for instance. Everything has been politicized. Our Igwe ship has been politicized, monetized and politicized. Like my community, this December, we are hoping to have an election for Igwe. And I can see the way some of them are going. But I was happy because I'm on their platform and I follow their debates. Those who are politicians who want to politicize the whole thing, monetize it, and, on one side doing their campaign, and others who are saying, no, that is not how it should be. That's not how it should be. Oh, you want to now become an Igwe so that you can sell us off. You want to become an Igwe, you don't understand. So those discussions are going on. So more of it. People should, as they come, thank God for social media now. Everybody is in one group or the other. Families are on social media, platforms discussing. So distance is not the problem now. Even those in the diaspora. So especially those in the diaspora, bringing in their experiences from wherever they are and discussing and teaching those at home. And there's that discussions, that Nkata, that communication. It will work. It may not be automatic, but I can see some shifting in the way thoughts are going. I can see the way some people are molding thoughts, in various groups and various communities. So it's not going to be, it didn't take overnight to rasa, that is to, what is rasa? To rasa. To scatter. It didn't take overnight to scatter. So it will not be overnight for us to bring it all back together. But the important thing is that we should start. And we have started. And we are doing it. So this December, in my community, we are all looking forward to it. Some people don't want us to have Igwe for political reasons. But we must have Igwe. Because many people... And I had to mobilize the women. I said, you people are keeping quiet too. You won't even vote. But don't keep quiet. Start talking at home. The people who are going to vote are your husbands and your sons. Start shaping their thinking. So you can do that. That is being part of the government. We don't all have to wear trousers and sit on the table. We can be in our kitchen. where we are cooking our onubu, and still contribute and shape how things will be done in the community. Because can they see onubu and I'm serving you and you are eating it, I'm telling you, Nekwa, this is the way to go, this is the way not to go. If not, I won't cook onubu for you again.
For the first time, the men are clapping. Very convenient. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Inyom. I wanted to ask, because, this homecoming and how you've responded to it shows us one thing, Igwe Bụ Ike.
Igwe Bụ Ike.
And Igwe Bụ Ike, it's one of our, fundamental values.
Yes.
And, with the question of leadership and, shared leadership, how does Igwe Bụ Ike still come to play in an Ala Ìgbò that has also become very individualistic, as different from maybe the way it was more communal? Ndị Ìgbò may look around and tell you, man, Ndị Ìgbò adron na man, Ndị Ìgbò adron n'udo, Ndị Ìgbò, all of those maybe stereotypical statements. So, kedokwa anyaka bụ Igwe? And does the Igwe Bụ Ike still work? And how can we reactivate it to make NDOZI Obodo, something that is a part of us?
Igwe Bụ Ike it's not just a slogan. It's a value. And once we understand it, we see the value also, we see the usefulness of working together. Working alone has never worked anywhere. It's not it's not an Igbo thing. It's not for only Igbo people. If you work alone, you won't go too far. But if you work in company, you will notice that you won't know when you have covered 20 miles. You won't be tired. But if you are working alone, by the time you do 2 kilometers, you are tired, you want to go and rest. But when there is a crowd going, you will do 20 kilometers, you won't even know that you have covered 20 kilometers. So, Igwe Bụ Ike physically, spiritually, and everything. And when they say that Ndị Ìgbò don't speak in one voice, I don't know what they mean. Because if everybody speaks in one voice, then there's no excitement now. We cannot all have the same views. For life to be exciting and interesting, we should have different perspectives, different viewpoints, see things differently. You are wearing a lemon dress, you may say, no, it's yellow. Then it's a topic for discussion. We will talk it until we decide whether it is lemon or yellow. Abi? So, when they say that, I just think that they just want to use it to disparage us as Ndị Ìgbò. We are not, come and try us on an important issue, then you will know whether we have one voice or we don't have one voice. So, I don't think that should bother us. Igwe Bụ Ike, and we must all strive to work together, to, work together. We don't have to agree all the time, but we don't have to be disagreeable. If we are, we don't need to fight. But at a point we come to an agreement or a common ground where I think that is another form of democracy, isn't it? I think so.
Thank you. It's a shame the students are leaving, because I wanted to ask this question in their presence, but I'm also sure that, other participants and guests here will agree with me. Let's look more specifically, at the role of women in leadership and in the business of, leadership as shared responsibility. It is true that formerly there were structures that, gave women complementary authority of voices, with men and other demographics. But also, we know that a lot has changed, as you identified, and there are still, at the same time, then and now, maybe even more so now, certain regressive cultural norms that limit, women's participation in leadership and makes leadership an unshareable, responsibility. I remember when we had the students for the mentorship in June, some of them in March, some of them, one of them who is the deputy senior prefect, was grumbling that the senior prefect, she thinks she was better suited to be the senior prefect than the boy who became the senior prefect. And she had observed that very often he makes decisions that, he comes back to say, oh, I was wrong here and I was wrong. And she would be like, but I had a better idea. Did you listen? If I had. So I think, like you said also, some of these issues where women themselves would rather go for lesser positions, in quotes, because they are not used to being at the fore. There are also other issues beyond that. And I want to hear from you. What are some of these norms, cultural norms, that you see that makes leadership as, a shared responsibility a bit difficult to achieve in Ala Ìgbò?
Well, I think I have to be very careful here because so that I don't sound contradictory. Now, I said that in the past we had shared leadership, and the structures all had their own roles to play. And it is the collective of those roles that equates to the development, the decision, the leadership. So, but now we are asking that we don't want to play, women are saying that they don't want to play these roles from the kitchen alone, that they also want to come and sit in the parliament, in the Obu. In those days, even though, like I said, we had dual governance and we had shared leadership, in the Obu, it will only be men. You will not see women sitting in the Obu with them, unless, of course, name one like me that can go and sit with them. And that would be one woman out of the whole community of women. But that didn't mean that the women did not have their own role in the decisions that rules or governs that community. Because they will meet wherever they are meeting, take the decision and tell them this is how we are going and this is how it is going to be. And that will be the verdict or the judgment or the, like Umuada, if Umuada we are intervening in a dispute, for instance, a family dispute or a clan by clan dispute. They may not take that decision in the Obu, physical Obu, but wherever they take it and pass it there, that is it. They had veto power. And the women in charge of the markets were in charge of the economy, they are in charge of the market, and that is the law. Nobody can challenge it. Not even the Igwe or the Eze or the Council of Nzenozo. No, they can't. But now, with modernity, we want to enter Obu. And where is the Obu? The Dome, the National Assembly, for instance. The State House of Assembly. That is the Obu now of government. We want to enter there. So, that is what we are struggling for. We now want to enter there so that our voices will also be heard in the Obu. So nothing is static. Everything is changing. So that is a change that must happen.
Thank you, Inyom. Thank you. Let me also ask the question of, you've founded many organizations,
Yes.
A key player even in, civil societies, and the Center for Memories, being a non-profit also, and in the business of advancing the Igbo identity, through collecting, preserving, and showcasing our history, our heritage. We have a role to play. Likewise, other civil society organizations or non-profit groups. And having championed many of these, what do you recommend, should be our strategy in bringing out the message or amplifying the message of NDOZI Obodo as a shared, leadership responsibility? How can groups like the center, and the ones that you formed, how can we continue to advance or amplify this message that NDOZI Aborolo Fwani?
You have started. All I can say is continue. Don't stop. I keep saying it's not a quick fix. It's not going to happen automatically. But so you just keep doing what you're doing. These conversations that you're having, this Nkata Umu Ibe that you've been having over the years, and it is because of what I have seen you people do in the past that made me so excited to be part of it. So we will keep talking. We will keep organizing conversations, forums like this everywhere, and talking. And we reach out to our people. They will say that Igbo people are very rich. But my brothers and sisters, I don't see their money. If you are rich and we cannot see it in action, you don't have any shishi. They will be talking about Igbo billionaires. Where are they? Where are the billionaires? When there are things crying out for funding, things like this, to preserve who we are, to preserve our identity, to preserve our memories. Because when your memory is lost, you have dementia, you have Alzheimer's, you don't belong to the world again. You cannot function, you cannot participate. And there is this institution, this organization that is giving oxygen to our brain so that we don't forget. If you forget who you are, forget your past, then you are nobody, you have gone. You are as good as dead. Dead men, I don't think they have feelings anymore or they remember anything. So, where are our billionaires? Where are they? If you say you are proud Igbo man or woman, you're a billionaire, this is where your philanthropy should be seen. This is where young people are coming to be mentored, to be told who they are, where they are coming from, who their ancestors were. Education. Education. And this is a center of excellent education for Ndị Ìgbò. Your children that you are training in Oyibo schools that cannot even speak Igbo anymore. And we have a center like this. We want your philanthropy to show here. Then now we know you are a billionaire. If not, we don't have any billionaire in Ala Ìgbò.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to wrap up because we have to open the floor to, the audience. So let me wrap up with this question, and it's imagining the future, because the reason we hold conversation is Makechi. As the director mentioned, our work stands on that tripod of Makonya, Tanichi. Now, for this Echi's sake, if you could reimagine, the leadership structure or system in Ala Ìgbò, what are the pillars, if you like, or structures that you would insist should be in place to ensure that leadership is truly a shared responsibility and no one is left out?
I would advocate or advise that we look at what we used to have. Look at it critically and strengthen it for each. I would want our men to purge themselves of the colonial mental poison that they have in their brain, to think that it is only men that can do it. And that's why it's not working. We should look at Inya. Inya, we had elders, Ndokenye. They had a say. And they were respected. Now, I can't see that demographic being involved or being listened to because of the warped sense of values that we have now, where they think that once you have a few coins in your pocket and you can wear a starched white and white, and wear senator. That it is you. It is only you people that are the doing thing. So you will find that the older people in the community, they don't even listen to them again. When you talk, I beg, they should go and they should pack. The young ones, you can't give what you don't have. The group of people who are saying that they are now our leaders, they don't have it. So they don't even have anything to pass on to the youth. And the youth don't have role models. They don't have who they want to look up to be, to become. They don't know. Is it the people that will wear senator, carry police up and down? Is that what they want to be? Okay, they will now start wanting to be that. That's not leadership. And that's not training for leadership. And then, of course, like I said, the women are still feeling that it is not their turf. Politics is not their turf. Even what is happening in the communities, I mean, it doesn't concern them. It is the men's thing. It's not the men's thing. It is our thing. So we need to also think of how we can change that mentality for the future. Everybody should be involved, and the roles are defined. The young men are our strength. They are our legs and our hands. So some of us that are borrowing stick may not need to borrow stick when we have young men to do the walking and running for us. Then we sit down and be, receiving reports and advising. Try this way and try the other one. If this didn't work, why don't you try the other one? The women also should be bringing in their own perspectives. When the men are being too egotistic or egoistic. Asimu na mamara asego. Unugata. Ego. Candy more. Me. The women should play that tempering, make them understand that you are just a man. When people, there's nothing there. Take it easy. Yes. And so on. We should all come together, think together, and work together. And the future will be bright. Ala Ìgbò ga-adị. Long live Ala Ìgbò. Nothing will wipe us out from the face of this earth. Ala Ìgbò is the center of civilization, and it will continue to be that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Questions, comments, and to also reiterate the point I made earlier, before, we share lessons or questions that we have, we should also start with making a commitment. How, in what ways in our respective capacities are we going to embody or showcase our understanding of inclusion and how we think society can become more inclusive? What are we going to do? Or what have we even done in the course of coming to Nkata Umu Ibe and understanding the various aspects of inclusion? So thank you, and anyone who has something to say can put his hands or her hands up.
Good evening, and special greetings to the Iyom. I know you can also be called Honorable Ma. More grace, Ma. I really appreciate and enjoy the lecture this evening. I am Onyebu Chimba. I represent the community of persons with disabilities at the state level. I am particularly interested on the community of persons with disabilities you mentioned on your intro. And I wish to really get your view towards persons with disabilities in terms of NDOZI Igbo. I know that the highest form of Idola is all about individual development and sustainable one for that matter, human capital development. No matter the level of development that we may see in Igbo land without individuals being said to have developed, we are as good as not doing anything. And as it concerns persons with disabilities in particular, whom you have encouraged not to specialize their own case in order not to make people around them treat them or see them on a different angle. But then, the reality speaks otherwise. The reality says that a system in Nigeria and Igbo land in particular do not accommodate persons with disabilities. So I would like to hear more from you. What do you really have to tell them? And while talking to them, what message also would you like to pass to the listeners and to Igbo nation in general? Because we know that this thing didn't start yesterday. It started somewhere. Maybe socio-cultural beliefs that has cumulated to the negative perceptions we see today around towards individuals with disabilities, including families that still up to this moment hide their disabled or physically challenged child in their various houses. You have a deaf child or hearing impaired or visually impaired or any form of disability, albinism, the family will be hiding them. Up till now, as we speak, it happens in Igbo land. Kedu ka ga-esi dozi ọnọdụ dị otu a? Kedu ka ga-esi dozi that I will enter a public vehicle and the driver looking at me will discover that I am a blind man, and then the driver will say, no. Get down. I will step down, and then the driver will zoom off. If you ask him, he will tell you, I can't do it. How can we do it in a system where if I am to be admitted into a school, and when the authority of the school gets to know of my admission, they will query why I was admitted? How can we say, or how do we do it In a system where we know that even the church has failed. Because in Igbo land today, go and check. Our brother will always say, go and verify. Persons with disabilities do not go to church. And that is because of discrimination. So I would like to get your clear view and perception towards this. What is your message to the people around, those listening here and those that may be listening via virtual participation about NDOZI and Igbo? And NDOZI and Igbo connotes NDOZI Madon and Igbo, which persons with disabilities are involved. Thank you, man. God bless you.
Thank you.
Onye Buchi Mba. Thank you very much for your contribution that you couched like a question. But he made a very useful contribution and gave us information. What he has said, are we in Igbo now or in English? Okay. Okay. Now, ife niile okwu bụ eziokwu. But ife nchi ịgwa gị mba ọ bụrụ sọsọ n'ala Igbo. It is a Nigerian problem. Ọ dịkwa n'ụwa niile o, but ka arapụgodu nke ụwa niile ka anyị just nọ n'ọlụgodu n'obodo anyị bụ Nigeria. It is a Nigerian problem. Ọkwa ịfụ mụ anywhere nje, any office in Banye, if they ask you, I will tell them, I say, I'm taking people to court too. Because the office you want to access is on the 3rd floor. And there is no lift. There is no ramp. There is no anything. And you expect somebody, physically challenged to climb it or not to climb it. Even when election na Anambra the other day, can you give example? Election na Anambra the other day. So now my polling booth step igale. The first step igale did this high. We lose a platform ebe ndị na-eme capturing and they bag have mputa na-enye anya nsa na I must vote but mali nwifa ofonye si ka kenyelu maka nsa kunu pagogem na ara pagogem ndị anụwa na ebe anụwa lituonu come and capture me here. I'm not going to live here. So they had to come down and captured me. As they were capturing me, some other elderly women who were around, see, Nabaga Kwaligo, see, you see, we spoke out. I spoke out for myself. Instead of enduring the pain and of climbing. What I'm trying to say is that now the whole Nigeria and father de lota with disability. Nothing. We don't have anything like that. At least Igwe Bụ Ike, you got phone virtual visually impaired. If you are not pam pam with one stick, olu underground, omalo ebo gesi banye, omalo platform o gesi je, pam 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 pam. Obuna kuzilie, obuna di na ndị obodo Igbo lolia in such a way that na onye ada afu ụzọ ga-aganwu. Anyị enwe pavement anyị ga-aganwu ebe. Inwegodu wheelchair kenki gi akwe anọ wee kwe. When there is no road. Otago. So, oburo a Nigerian problem. I ga na ekwu. Jonah Pid na-ekwu. Everybody na-ekwu. Onwe bossy in the Ford Foundation, onwe family for disabled people. Felu eba na-ekwu. Mwa wesifa unu na-ekwu kwa go na anyị o ndị agadi. Anyị sokwu na disabled. Otago. But it's the truth. ị na-ekwu maka na ịbanye bọs asị gị lituo mụ nwa ga-abanyenwu bọs can I struggle to enter a bus? Onye dị ka m, it's not possible. So ndị a na-discriminate against erika. So I'm happy that na-enwere association. So all those associations gonna a push, na advocate for changes to be made in our environment, in our name to include manokwa discrimination. It is in capital letters. Ndị nwale super. Unu get super discrimination. Super yana big okpolokpo capital letters. There is discrimination. What you said is very, very true. What can we do as individuals? We will keep talking. We will keep protesting. I do it every day on a single basis. Even kambata ibenje kita anwa. Nsifa so obuna mejiro mkpo, how do you want me to climb this step? We will keep complaining and protesting. Maybe one day our environment will be conducive for both the disabled and the so-called abled people. Because in the able people who join me jogging, can you jog on your streets? Unuwe walkway. Eh? Keka abia kubwi na gota me weda le gota. So it's a national issue and it's a developmental issue. We will continue talking.
Thank you so much. There's another hand. Please also remember the commitment. We'd like to hear what you plan to do or what you have also done in the course of, listening to Nkata Umu Ibe or attending Nkata and learning more about inclusion. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ositadema Wangu. I'm from Ositadema. And I work at Genesis Tech Hub. It's a technology hub, and some of the things that we do around inclusion is that we create technology education programs, particularly for people that are underrepresented, and we try to create some of those programs for them to learn about tech. So that is how we are contributing to this gospel of inclusion. I'm going to make two contributions, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. So I think the first one, when we're talking about nation building, that's NDOZI Obodo. I think that one of the things that is most important for any group of people that want to progress is seeing yourself as important enough in this world for you to own your own place, on the earth that we live in. And I'm going to, share a brief experience. So I remember, when I was much younger, it's not like I'm old now, but when I was just a little younger than this, I remember that I had a cousin in the village that I think we went for Christmas. And this thing, Esicha from the city, Diacha, you're interacting with your cousins, and you realize that one of them can't read, in JS3, or in on a JS3. I think I started reading in either primary one or nursery school. So I was so surprised that somebody non SS1 or JS3 cannot read, and the thing really bothered me. So that time, my dad was chairman meeting in Iyom. So I started telling him that no one will accord you that some people are there just school, some people are go and we head there. So I started mounting pressure on him, and we decided to set up like a scholarship fund our own that enables people to go to school. So we use that fund to fund the education of people. So what am I saying in essence? What I'm saying in essence is that I think the first thing is that we need to start seeing ourselves and the people that make up our society as people that are deserving of progress. And that is now what makes us to do all the things that we need to progress. And I also believe that development is a collective effort. Yes, I know that a lot of the time, government is always lacking in, living up to the people's expectations and responsibility. But what can you do as a group of people? What can you do, Because I believe that the reason for representative democracy in the first place was that people wanted to organize themselves so that they can participate in the governance of themselves. So what is a better way than to even start from the grassroots, from institutions like the Omona, to start getting actively involved in things that can collectively develop the people that belong to those institutions. And that's the first one. And then there was something that you said, in the final phase of your speech that really, stuck with me about the billionaires in our midst. Where there is an Yaziego in the air, every small thing, a Yaziego in the air, and it's a very cool thing to do. You see people on social media, Magana, Puftefi, and doing all those things. And you go back to the places where these people come from, and you're wondering, like, how can things be like this? You read about people like Carnegie and all the things that they did to, bolster development in the United States with their money and all of that. And you wonder what is wrong with our people. I honestly think that, and the reason I wanted to particularly talk about this one is because I think that things like Nkata Umu Ibe is very, very, very important. And it's something that we need to collectively start investing in. We need to, all become a part of it. Because I honestly believe that the only people that truly die are the people that are forgotten. So, there are lots of civilizations now that they can't even find evidence of their existence. Even through fossils and everything, they can't find evidence of, the existence of such civilizations. And those are the people that are truly dead. But as long as there are people that are alive, that can remember, and as long as there are things, monuments, artifacts, there are a lot of people in history that I never knew anything about. But I read about Chinua Achebe, I read about Cyprian Ekwensi. They live through their books, they live through their works. And I believe that collectively as Igbo people, we should live or exist forever through things like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Iyom Josephine Anenih for the beautiful speech and conversation on collective development. And my name is Marilyn Chinwe Onyabo Eze, and I've just come from my father's burial. But importantly, we opened the 7-ward hospital maternity for women in my village and equipped it. And that was on the 30th of November. It was inspected by the governor and other dignitaries from the state. So that's what we're doing to uplift society as a family, my siblings and I. And going to the discussion, I would want to say that before we think about collective development, we must deal with the areas of exclusion. And in as much as we all accept that we exclude the disabled people, I know that we also exclude women. I know it's a lifelong struggle that Iyom has been pushing for, but the death of both of my parents brought me closer to my culture, and I was taken aback at the level of exclusion. We bandy about things like Umuada and so on and so forth, but I beg to say that those groups are pressure groups. They are pressure groups, strong as they may be, but they do not have a seat on the table. You can pressure, but if you're not in the Council of Chiefs, in the end, you may be on the wrong side of the decision making. So I would earnestly want to see more inclusion, more direct inclusion. I know that culture is dynamic, and it's these conversations that we have that promotes that dynamism that culture needs. The Igbo culture needs to get closer to the global paradigm that is changing societies everywhere. And at first, I was really impressed with the direct inclusion Iyom talked about. And but I was a bit discouraged when she mentioned that when we are cooking onubu soup, we can be a force. Yes, we cook onubu soup, we spice it and garnish it, but I don't want my ability to contribute to society to be tied to being able to cook a good onubu soup. So it's something that I know that a lot of people are working on, And there's a bill currently on reserved seats for women. Because shamefully, this dispensation women representation for some reason has gone down. The demographics show it in the National Assembly, in the Executive Council. We've lost what we had as far back as 1999. We've gone down. So before we talk about that collective development, let's try to try to work on the areas of exclusion for women. Thank you.
Okay, can I?
Thank you. Yes.
Chinwe, thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much. I want to talk on two things. Number one, you said that the Umuada are not on the table. I said before now that we as women have to push to get in there. In my community now, before now, in ATU, that is the town union, the structures did not include women at all. But in the review, and I've been at it not, over years, from one PG to the other, and, talking to them. But in the constitution that they have just approved, they have accepted to include the women group called Eziokubondo. Then O2, Odo, these are women, as structures, as traditional structures in the ATU. Women have to, remove the toga of, the way, we have been, how would I say it, brainwashed to believe that we can't do it. We have to believe that we can do it and start pushing to, to get in there. As a woman leader, I've always told women, you see this table, there is no man there. All the chairs are occupied. There's no woman there. All the chairs are occupied by men. If you want to get there, you have to go and get your own chair and sit. And I was practicing it as a national woman leader in my party. When they have finished the high table and put men, I will go and get 2 chairs. I'll put one on this edge and put one on the other edge. I will go and look for a woman with veil representing the north. Sit down here. I said sit down here. I'm the one. I put the chair there. Sit. I will get a woman from the south. Sit. And I found that nobody, the men will not say remove these chairs. They will just be looking and maybe they will just smile. So it is for those women to have that courage as they are sitting on the high table. Then I will tell the men, aren't you people ashamed? You say you are People's Democratic Party. And it's only men where we are seeing. You should, even if it is to decorate your table, let them decorate the table. You use every, tactics, every subterfuge. Any strategy that you can use. Do you understand? And they now started accepting it when I was national woman leader. And that was when we had women. That was when they said they should nominate ministers. No woman was nominated except for the talent. No woman. And I went to Obasanjo with Titi Ajanaku. May I so rest in peace. I said, it can't happen, no. And I recruited Laila Dogoyaro from the, civil society. We held them. We must have women. So they now said, okay, please, go and nominate 12 women for us. So I went to all these zones and said, give me two women. We submitted the 12 names. Then he took 6 That is, your constitution says one minister per state. That's what is written in the constitution. But when he now added those 6, they became 42. And we were going with that. If the people who came after me were like me, we could have got more. The women that were in the National Assembly, for the second tenure, I told my party they will not go through primaries. It's automatic ticket. I went to AD, APP at that time, and ANPP. The women that won election, people like Linda Ikpeazu, some other women, this woman from the West, from Delta. I said, join my party, you will get automatic tickets. You know, if you get our ticket, you have won. So that was why the increase. Those ones, that was why we... But after that, who was now pushing? Even they that got in there, did they make more space for other women? That's the problem I was saying. Mentality of women who are not thinking that they should fight. And I tell women, young women, everybody, I said, if you want to make it, you cannot be a good girl. You have to be a rebel. Because if you want to be a good girl, then you will keep you will keep quiet. When they say sit, you sit. They say move, you move. But if you want to sit well, when they say move, you simple, no? Then what would they call you? Bad girl. Rebel. I said that's the only way. This is power. They already have it. You must. OCBK by force. You know the song? Consider. Abi. So that is what it is. That's how the life is. When I talk about Ofo Nubu, it can be salad, it can be indomie. What do people eat? I use Ofo Nubu because that's what I eat in Amodia. So whatever you eat, whatever you are cooking, what I'm saying is that you must not be on that table to be influential and to be. Do you know that the men that are controlling this country, you don't know them all. You don't know them. You don't see them. They are invisible. They are not ministers. They are not governors. They are not president. But they are in their houses. And every president and every minister and every national assembly has to go and dobale and get blessing. Although we are fighting to be in the Obu, to be physical and visible in the Obu, but we must not forget that we have powers. What we are looking for is power. If we can hold that power, and don't call my name, don't see my face, but I can twist the puppets that are strutting up and down with police and everything. I would prefer that. You get what I mean? But for visibility, so if you are a mother, if you're a woman, and you cannot be out there, but you can influence your husband, you can influence your brother, you can influence your friend, you can influence your uncle. Use that power and influence them. Ultimately, we are getting what we want. Because it is, if you influence them, you say you have bills in the National Assembly. How many women do you have there? It's only men. So the women who are not out, who are in the kitchen, if you know the favorite food the senator is eating, cook am for him, so that when he goes there, he will vote for that your bill. We don't all have to wear this, carry placard, going to National Assembly to get it done. We will do that, and we will do the other one. That's what I'm saying, Chinwe.
In terms of inclusion, one of the things that we've done recently First of all, culture and tradition evolves. Yeah. So the World Bank did an erosion project in my village, and they took over some of our family land, and they paid compensation. And my uncle insisted that it would be shared amongst all of his siblings, male and female. Yeah? So tradition would tell you that it's only the men who should get a share of the proceeds of the land. But he insisted that he and all his sisters and half-sisters and so on, and we're hoping that other families, if they find themselves in similar situation, will copy that, and that's how cultures evolve.
Yes.
But my question, Iyom, is, I know that when President Jonathan was in office, there was a plan to have 35% female representation in political appointments. I'm not sure if he quite hit the 35% then, but, or maybe he exceeded it. What happened? How come it did not continue? Is it that it wasn't entrenched in law, or with benefit of hindsight, what could have been done to ensure that going forward with other presidents, Buhari, now Tinubu, and whomever comes after, that at least we have 35% representation on appointments whilst we fight for elections?
Yes. So that is what the women groups are fighting for, to entrench it in our constitution. Because as long as it is not, we already have a policy, but a policy that nobody listens to. We have many policies lying all over the place. So if they don't implement that policy, there's nothing anybody can do about it. But if it is a law, then there is something we can do about it. But even then, the Nigerian Women Trust Fund went to court on that policy thing. And I think they went to ECOWAS court. And Nigeria was asked to obey it. So, depending on the whims and caprices of whoever is the president, if you get a president like Buhari, may his soul rest in peace, who says we should stay in the other room, he's not going to appoint any woman to come to the cabinet. We rather all of us just enter our rooms and lie down. If you get a progressive, an enlightened president like Jonathan, he would do it because he sees the value in it. He knows from President Obasanjo's era, he saw the impact that the women made. And he even used some of those women who worked for Obasanjo to work for him also. So he has common sense. So anybody that has sense knows that including women is not charity, it's not gender issue, it's not this. It is common sense. It is development. It is economy. It is progress. It is everything positive. So they will do it. So the reserved seats that we are asking for, I pray that it will go through, scale through. And then from there, we will get it one day.
The problems have been exposed. Let me not therefore repeat what have been said. But I want to make suggestions in some areas,
Okay.
especially in Ala Ìgbò, with women representation. If you look through the traditional institutions, you will really hardly find women. If you look through the town union associations, there may be no person living as PG, no woman. What can we do? I suggest Center and other platforms can make this push through the Ndị Ìgbò to talk to traditional rulers' councils and all other fora to see that women are adequately represented. Let us start it in Ala Ìgbò. It will work. Now, when you were mentioning in the litany of people who should contribute in NDOZI Obodo, I was carefully listening to hear about women and August meeting. It's a very formidable group. In Ala Ìgbò, we are Christians, definitely, and we won't shed it off any time in future. That group is quite formidable, and they make a lot of input, oftentimes different from the traditional norms. How can we harness the potentials of that group for NDOZI Obodo and their community? Those who participate are not just those in the rural areas, even those in the diaspora come home for August meeting. But they do little or not. Oftentimes they are inclined to church affairs, Christian, dominated areas and so on. That. Finally, with regard to I am always very reluctant to call them disabled. Can I suggest that you change your name? Shed off that toga of disability. I will regard them as people differently abled. More positive than negative. People, society or people differently abled. Try it. It will give you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's also take the last question because I saw a lady whose hand was up and she can address.
Good evening, everyone. This is nostalgic for me because it's kind of a homecoming for me. Center for Memories is my home. And I want to, so from on a professional level, what I'm doing to make sure that things are different with Nkata Iyom is that we're always and continually providing platforms for us to have conversations that matter. Those conversations that need to be had in order for us to make sure that women are being advanced in every possible way that they can be advanced. And on a personal level, I remember sometime in last 2 years, I visited my father and I came across the constitution of Ndeba Anyebennam. And if the only eligible men. Now I wonder, manamamna growing up, and these women have been forces in making sure that ihe na-agazi n'obodo ka o si kwesị ịgazi. And alote movie video. Omenara ndị nwa ọkụ ndị NEPA ewele ọkụ anyị. Ụmụ nwaanyị ga mobilize ngwagharị nwanụ ka anakọta ụgwọ ọkụ. And I'm wondering, ebe ọ bụ na ụmụ ma na ụmụ nwaanyị did this important, why can't they be included in the places where the decisions are made? So I started talking to my father and said, and my father being Onyobo, he started speaking. And thankfully, we're hoping that Hana reviewed the constitution right now, and we're hoping that 28th of December, Family General Assembly, that it will be passed. So, what the contribution I want to make, Bona, after all is said and done, if women are really going to get into where we need to get to, we need the economic power. How do we begin to build ourselves as women to become economic powerhouses that even when we are not running, people that come out to run, we are able to fund their campaigns, the election, because politics is a capital-intensive venture. We cannot even take that away. So, and where concrete economic plans, concrete economic programs, a young girl or gacha through, or where can make it something of herself. So I think in having this conversation, we should also begin to look towards that. I'm happy now our daddy mentioned something about August meeting. On our August meeting, CWO annual August meeting. And I'm wondering, growing up, I'm August meeting, but NDOZI Obodo. It's never about denomination. No. But when you put as your ndị nke Catholic ọ na-eme iche, ndị Anglican ọ na-eme iche. Ka esi wee gbakọta ọnụ. Ka make sure that n'obodo na-aga ka o si kwesị ịga. Because I can't remember who said this thing, but the thing stuck with me. Nke bụ eziokwu bụ that in our also a community na either include their women or a nation na include their women. And you won't really make so much progress. Just imagine trying to run with just one hand and the other one tied to your back. You are definitely not going to make as much progress that you would make if you had included your other hand. So what I'm saying in essence, Bona, that economic power, we need to find a way to make sure Momowanyan are economically empowered so that we can begin to do the things we need to do, how we need to do them. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Aku. Thank you very much. So I'll just address your last submission, economic empowerment. Ife ga-agwa ụmụ nwanyị Igbo fanekene their sisters na Yoruba land. Go do their sisters na Yoruba land or in the West. Anụm dị na Edo. O nwere nwaanyị Bini na-ele tomato, ma ọ na-ele ose, ma ọ na-ele okro na-enwere ụlọ. First thing ọ ga-eme, fa ga-eje gote anyị rụọ ụlọ, fa na-akpọ ya face me, I face you. O tinye tenant. Reserve ọla onwe ofu room, Adamama. Ọkwịnanụ, they do that. Igwe baza na nkedi Yoruba, ofife a. Ndị Yoruba malụ ka fa si ka ụmụ nwanyị fa. All these women na-azụ afịa iche na fe nwere ego. Fa nwere ezigbo ego. Because fa na-akụzili fa from, na abụọ how to invest. Ọ nwaanyị Yoruba mojele akwa money o jere akwụkwọ ikpe anya aka. O nwere shares na USA, nwee na Rudis, nwee na nka. And they shares, they will go and buy. Fanwe. Ụmụ nwanyị Yoruba gụlụ akwụkwọ nweta banyitego unu na-alụ na professionals. Etu akafa ga-esi na-adọ ibe fa, o tinye na bọọdụ nka. And they recommended onye anwade. O nwere nwanyị Yoruba, corporate Yoruba, na nọrọ na 1, 2, 3, 4 boards. Fa na-enyela onwe fa aka. So, economic empowerment. Nwere okwu onye ga-weta ego bịa dashi anyị. We have to learn how to make wealth. How to make wealth, how to invest and make wealth nke anyị. Makwa that na Ala Ìgbò adekenye anyị, but o nwere onye si anyị egota n'une anyị. Some families like the Okibos are the progressive, fabo, millennium people. So their women are okay. They get. Man, some very conservative ones. I cannot ibambo. I batanya bombo. And you will be invest, yeah. So that is how you will build money. Nobody, even one, they build their wealth. More than that. So, I think that's what I need to say. We cannot wait. We should start thinking strategically. How do we make money? And I join the next year. Anyị amarọ, a ga-akụzili anyị what to do. Anaghị eme, onwere Zoom meeting nwere isi mada abanenya. Mmadụ katafe ofu nwaanyị Igbo. Is it in health? Is it in economy? Is it in care? I don't know what occupies you people. They are not interested. Mona politics. So can you know me if Yoruba name? They all think of their retirement. Well, ka anyị mụbagodu nwa anyị mụsa nwa nwaanyị azụba anyị. Nwaanyị Yoruba na-akwa eche nwa ya ga-azụ ya because in her old age, o nwere her nest egg, o nwere her savings for her retirement.
Thank you. Ebe a ka Nkata Umu Ibe nketa ga-abịa n'isi njedebe. Thank you so much for joining. We've been here till dusk, and I'm more than thankful to Iyom Josephine Anenih for leading the keynote and giving superb answers to the questions and commentary raised. Thank you so much also for sitting till the very end. I will invite the director of the center now, Maazị Hani Boko, to invite whom will do us the honor of presenting the token. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Just to add my voice to Nkekwu, Iyom Josephine Anenih, Aburono Onyana may introduce, or somebody who has left a significant impact in Nigeria's journey. And when for no the speech today. Weti aliba ibeni nenje sinanga nonata here today, and it's an honor listening to her present today and bring deep insight gained from many years of engaging with this topic. Nkabri hakota na nkab experience, in the battlefield, trying to advance inclusion and the role of women in Nigeria. Iyom, this is a small token from us in appreciation of the effort and time you took to prepare, to join us, and for all the insights you shared. Thank you. Big round of applause for her. And that one as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Agwa m nnọọ ya bụ board of advisor anyị na nkata ndị Inyom Igbo, and we are so proud of him. Anywhere nọ na-asụ Igbo nje anakwa m anụ ife ọ na-asụ mana na ọ na-asụ Igbo na-ege ntị ọ na-atọ m. Daalụ. Thank you very much.
Ifenia.
I call him the great Patrick Okibo III. He spoke so beautifully as usual, and I believe he already gave the vote of thanks. But I'm honored to be standing before a great lady. Some of us may here in this audience may be seeing her for the first time, but in her brief lecture, she said so much with very little words. Manakana Bazinkata, quite a lot came out. Iyom, Dalu, Makokundu Modu, you did speak and you did remind us that power is taken and never given. Makandina said that, just like she said, that you've not been invited. Invite yourself. 4 years ago, I got so frustrated. I didn't have any chance of becoming governor in Anambra, but I decided to try. And I did that because there was no point in complaining and doing nothing about it. And damn, as I will say, my mother actually asked that I thank you for honoring this invitation to speak at the Center for Memories and to be a most wonderful final guest speaker, distinguished speaker for the year 2025. And, we obviously left the best for last. You see, and let me remind all of us, it's never about the crowd, it's never about the number of people here. And this edition, like every edition, the impact will go beyond the number of people here. Quite a lot of people are watching globally. That's the impact that the Center for Memories have had. And I know, because I interact with figures who are interested in Africa outside the shores of Nigeria. And this place is most highly regarded. As I thank our honored guests, I want to remind us that as we wrap up for this year, there's no Nkata for January, for obvious reasons. Most of us are still in the village. But the first Nkata for 2026, hopefully we'll all still be alive then, will happen the first Friday by 4 o'clock, first Friday of February next year. So let's try to be there and to not wait, like Iyom told us, to be invited. Be here. This is something great that Patrick and the rest of them have bequeathed to us. And they know, Iyom, if we carry Chimakana about the CFK, and I am Rapi and Joe. But as I thank you, I want to thank the Ford Foundation for the sponsorship that has ensured that for months this has gone on at a great level. I want to thank a man who is in this audience for not just being a part of exposing what goes on here, and not just doing it for quite a number of years, but beyond the Center for Memories, what he does in telling our stories here in the Southeast. Emekamba, Dal one them. That's Afia TV, Afia Radio. Yeah, no, it's okay. Emeka Iyom said she forgot to thank you, but that's fine.
Emeka, thank you very much for what you did for us 2 years ago. When we conference ever, because I forgot to thank you. Dalu.
Iyom Dal. Apart from Emeka, Signature TV, Urban Radio, Solid FM, quite a number of collaborators in the past, Enugu Sports Club, and I was honestly delighted to still see the logo of the club on the material that promoted your being here. If you lead me to speak, I might still be here talking for the next 30 minutes. So this is now time to call on all of us to come join Iyom here, myself, Patrick, Emeka, and all of us to come for the group photo session.